Welcome to the Lawless Astrology channel. My name is Dabney. I'm an evolutionary astrologer. Today I'm joined by my cat Bailey, who is in the background. And what we're going to be talking about is the planetary energies of the last week in November, first week in December. So basically, we've got Mercury retrograde, we've got Mars going retrograde, and we have a Sagittarius new moon. So these are all things that I think are pertinent to talk about right now. I'm going to talk about it in language that makes sense for people, even if you don't know astrology. And hopefully it'll give you a little guidance about how to stay sane and make the most of this time. So if this is content you're interested in, please do stick around. Okay, so I kind of want to give an analogy of how this energy is unfolding. So we've all been collectively go, go, go. It's like we've kind of think about planning a trip. And the first thing we do is like we plan the trip and we say, Bailey's very busy taking a bath, excuse me. Got distracted by that. Now she's giving me the evil eye. Okay, back to the astrology. You know, you plan a trip, you pick a destination, you get excited about it, and you're all in on it, and you're doing all the preparation, and you're doing all the packing, and you're there, and you're so excited. And then at the last minute, something happens, and it wasn't quite what you thought it was going to be, and it sort of takes the wind out of your sails. Or, you know, the plane is delayed, or the train is delayed. Something, it just feels like it's not quite right, and you've got to adjust. So that's the energy right now, is like this adjustment period. So we have Mercury retrograde that started, I believe, on November 26th or 27th. When Mercury goes retrograde, what is happening is Mercury appears to go backwards in the sky, but it's really just slowing down its motion. And when Mercury goes retrograde, it's very memeable. Like people go, oh, Mercury retrograde. They blame everything on it. It's not like that. It's, you know, it can cause confusion. It can cause issues with travel, and it can cause issue with electronics and things like that. There's that stuff, but that stuff can happen when it's not Mercury retrograde. So what I think Mercury retrograde is all about is about taking the time to really reflect and to think and to slow our process down. So we kind of jump into things sometimes. We think we know everything. We're very directed, and it's kind of like, you know, it's very common for humans to just take the information in their head at face value and go with it. And so Mercury retrograde is an opportunity to take a pause and reflect. And so, you know, you can kind of go back over things. How did this happen? Why is this happening? Where do I need to investigate a little closer, a little deeper? Where do I need to see what I could have done better? Right, Bales? Okay. So then come December 6th, we have Mars going retrograde. And what this tells me is our energy, you know, we've been kind of like going. We've been feeling like we are needing to make progress. But sometimes progress needs to take time. And so when Mars goes retrograde, which doesn't happen all that often, it's not like Mercury retrograde that happens like 3 or 4 times a year. Mercury retrograde is a little bit more rare, but it's not super rare. But it's an opportunity for us to take a step back and to, you know, along with that Mercury retrograde, reflect. So going back to the travel analogy, when you are going, and you're packing and you're excited because you're going somewhere, and then all of a sudden you find out your plane's delayed or your train's delayed, you're kind of stuck in the station, you're stuck in the airport. And you're surrounded by people who are frustrated. And it's this very like busy electric energy, and it can be exhausting, right? Like just being around that many people, and especially people who are in anticipation, who are tired, who are working so hard. It just feel like this major drain. And so then you get on the train or you get on the plane, and you know, you put your bags up. And then you just sit there. that's where we're at. That's what I think this Mercury retrograde and this Mars retrograde is. It's that pause. It's like where you're like, oh my God, I made it. We're here. But you're not really there yet. But there's this gap. There's this in-between time where you're looking out the window and you can finally breathe again. And you can kind of regroup, and you can think through all the things that you really hadn't had a time to think through because you were frantically packing and the making sure the car came on time, whatever. So, it's just an analogy, but just that sort of busyness going into pause. And I think that that's where we're at, is the now we wait. We will be going somewhere. There will be all of this excitement and new energy and things to do. Come January, throughout 2025, things are going to accelerate. There's going to be a lot of changes. Your life will not necessarily look like your life now, a year from now. And so this is about the opportunity to sit in that seat and breathe in and know that you're sort of waiting. You're waiting for the next thing. You're waiting for these changes to come. So in between that Mercury going retrograde and the Mars going retrograde, we have a Sagittarius new moon. Sagittarius is the sign of philosophy, and they have very strong opinions, and Sagittarius likes to learn about everything, and Sagittarius likes to have adventures, and it's kind of like it's the party sign. Like Sagittarius are up for a good time. So that's the awesome part of Sagittarius new moon, is like, okay, I don't want to be depressed. I don't want to be miserable. I want to see what my future can hold. And anytime there's a new moon, as we've talked about, it's a planting seeds time. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know where our intentions can come to fruition at a later date. So it's a really nice time with a Sagittarius new moon to kind of envision what you want your future to look like. This is a time, knowing the information we have now, take a review of where are we? What do I need to learn? What can I do to prepare? That's the Mercury retrograde side of things. New information will continue to come to light too. Secrets sometimes can be revealed under Mercury retrograde. So you're going to be gathering information, but it's very kind of like take a breather. Enjoy Thanksgiving with your family. Really tune out the news. This is not a news time. This is not a newsy time. This is a time for quiet and envisioning where you want to go when the train pulls into the station, you have your destination, or the plane lands. You want to kind of, pull out the guidebook and think about, how am I going to get there? Where do I want to go? What do I want to see? How am I going to make this happen? So it's more of a dreaming energy, like dreaming of the impossible. What is impossible, but you can make possible? And that's kind of that oh, I'm here. I don't have to do these things right now, but I can dream about them. I can envision it. I can start to lay the foundation and the groundwork for where I want to come out in 2025. So then you come out, and then the plane lands, and then you've got all this chaotic energy of the airport again. But right now you're for this Thanksgiving week, she's back. You're just sitting on that train, looking out the window, thinking about the future. And so I think that's the energy of the week. And so give yourself a lot of grace. This new moon is going to have a challenging aspect from Saturn, but it's in Pisces. So it's interesting energy. The Saturn in Pisces really throws me. But it's saying to you, what can you envision? What can you imagine? What can you dream? What's your future like? Be the archer and pull the arrow back to your destination. That's the energy, is really kind of get excited about the vacation that you're about to have. Now, I say that with a lot of empathy and sharing the fact that there's a lot of trepidation and fear right now. And a lot of us are not really too jazzed about what the future looks like. But I always like to remind everybody that we don't entirely know what the future can hold. We are creating the future. Right, Bailey? We're creating it every day, in every moment, together. You're creating it with me right now. So in this time, let's envision the best future for ourselves together that we can. And let's really take this time to pause, because we may not get that many pauses beginning in January. So I would say that's the energy for the week. I really am grateful for all of you. Thank you for supporting this effort that these videos that I'm making. I'm excited to go away with my family and have a nice Thanksgiving. And I hope all of you have a lovely Thanksgiving too. So as always, there is a reason and a season for it all. And the universe is conspiring to help you. And until next time, stargazers, take a deep breath and enjoy the pause.